and then you pick up the front one cord and plug it into what number they want.
We are the last of the long time telephone
Yeah, we were there
operators.
a long time.
I think that the telephone office was played a very important part in the growing up of Ladysmith. Literally and figuratively, we connected people to each other. In 1904, Ladysmith was connected to the Nanaimo and Victoria Exchange. They had 33 phone numbers for private and party lines. The charges were $2.50 a month, and long distance rates to Victoria were 50 cents a minute and 25 cents each additional minute. The first telephone office was on High Street and operated by Bertha and Ethel Clay. The night operator was S. Mitchin. The telephone office was later moved to the Ladysmith Trading Company building, upstairs. The operators were Ethel and Mary Pannell. The third move was to the Esplanade, and the final move was the Exchange office on Robert Street, and this took place when the ring-down system ended and the dial system took over. But getting back to the party lines, each operator had to memorize some of the Morse code, as these were the rings that were used on a party line. Example, 334M. M was the Morse code, which we had to remember. So you rang 2 long rings. Or R, 334R. Short ring, 1 long, and another short. We had about 4 or 5 different numbers we used for the Morse code. So we will attempt to show you how this all worked by using the board that came from a hotel, but it's along the same principle. They would ring. When you rang from home, that little flip would fall down. And you, Gladys, would take one of those cords.
You take one of these and plug it into where you're speaking from.
And you would say,
Number, please.
and they would tell you where they wanted to, or who they wanted to call.
Yeah.
You would take the next cord.
But these are the
I know there should be a cord in front of it.
Yeah.
But because we don't have the cord in front of it, we use the one next door to it. You take that cord and plug it into.
To where she wanted.
Now, because this is a small board, but we had 5 boards. One small one like this, which was 1 to 20 or something. But that was the long distance board, wasn't it? The first board.
Okay.
And then all the other boards were taller and took a lot about, I don't know, they must have had a good 50 to 100 numbers each one of them, eh?
Yeah.
Somebody calls from that board and they want to call somebody on this board. You got to plug it in and then you pick it up down here and put it to the right person, right?
Yeah.
But then when it came to long distance, not like today, the long distance operator, do you remember how you did that?
Well, actually, we usually, one board was used for the long distance.
That's the
wasn't
board,
it?
yeah.
One at the front.
Yeah.
Wrote out a ticket.
I remember.
Yeah, you wrote, but if you wanted to call overseas, you'd have to go all the way back to Montreal.
You had more places to phone to get to
Yeah,
that.
to get to
And
that
it could
one.
take hours waiting for that call to come back.
And like June said, you'd have to write everything down. All women,
Yes.
except we had one line man,
Who, Tom?
Tommy McCormick.
He was nice.
He was the one that would install the telephones and come in and give a good joke every now and then. And being next door to the city hall, the jail was there, and police used to come over, particularly the night shift. The telephone office was the center, I would say almost like the hub of Ladysmith in a sense, because we also took fire calls. When there was a fire, they'd call us right away, which we in turn would phone the fire hall. People lived there, and they'd ring the bell. And then people would phone, "Where's the fire? Where's the fire?" And we weren't just telephone operators.
So did you guys get emergency calls though? Like would people call operator and say, you know, somebody's breaking in? Like how did that work? Because there was no 911 then, right?
Sure wasn't.
No, there wasn't.
No, I don't.
I guess they didn't figure we'd be able to do it much. We couldn't. I mean, we had no way of getting in touch with the police other than by ringing their number.
Well, we were open 24 hours a day too. The more people that came into Ladysmith, of course, the more boards we had. We had 5 operators on it at all the time, plus the manager and the big kahuna. Well, we also did split shifts, 4 hours at a time.
They had all kinds of shifts. There was one shift, like the morning was 7 till 11 and 12 till 4. So that was the only sort of straight through one.
There's a lot of places that had split shifts. Did they? One in the morning, 4 in the afternoon or whatever. Because we did. It was good.
So what were some of the challenges with that system?
We had to check the lines to see if people were busy talking, and if not, then we'd unconnect them, of course. But there were times when you opened the line to see if anybody was talking and you heard things you shouldn't be hearing, but you closed them tightly again.
We just had to keep as many off the board as you could.
So you would make sure that they'd finish their call, so you'd have to monitor to,
Yeah.
there'd be no light going off or anything to
No.
tell you that the
No.
call was done?
No.
Wow.
You just had to monitor it, yeah.
How many people would be on a party line?
5 at the most.
There was some had 8.
Really?
Oh, out in the district. Well, it could have been south of in Solitaire or the Cedar out that way.
Right.
Because and a lot of them were farmers and that too.
There wasn't main lines, too many main lines, so this is why they had to put so many on one line. You know. And it was hard for them because, you know, if you wanted to get on the phone to make a call, like, impossible. Somebody's on there talking.
Get off the line. No, I don't want to. It's my line.
George would have to get on the phone to see if he'd be working, and the people that were on the line would not get off. And he got mad and he said, "You have to get up. I've got to go to work." Where? I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Some people were a little bit snarly when it came to things like that.
But busy signals were not a thing then. They were just, I'm sorry that line is busy.
When did this system change?
In the 60s when they went to dial. And that's when the operators ceased to exist in little towns like Ladysmith. They had built the exchange, which is still there on Robert Street. And they had put the dial phones in, taken your phones off the wall. And everything was ready to go on that day or date, whatever the case may be, and it just automatically flipped over.
And that was it. Doors closed and you're gone.
Yeah.
Got your notice.
So it
And,
goes.
yeah. On October 1st, 1958, at 7 a.m., that is the date and time when hundreds of scissors snipped through Ladysmith Exchange to cut over the Ladysmith telephone system from the manual controls to a completely automatic system.
Please hang up and try again.
But we didn't have 245, it was Churchill 5, like 2918 for instance. And then when they took the Churchill out of it, then they made it 245, as it is today. Vancouver and Nanaimo, everybody else had
A name.
a name instead of a number.
And they discovered that they could do more with numbers as BC
Oh, I see.
grew, you know, instead of the CH or whatever, yeah.
And then of course they went from that dial to push button.
Were you getting some people who were just lonely and they just wanted to talk to
Well,
somebody?
yes, there was a lot of that, wasn't there, Glad?
Yeah, late at night.
Yeah. I've thought about it a lot of times, and I guess working with the girls that I worked with, everybody seemed to get along, and I loved the job. I'm pleased, I'm really pleased I did this, and sorry when it went down.
It was all a learning experience. Every day you went to work, you learned something else, it seemed.
I just loved working with everybody. See, they're all still good people. It's just been great and I enjoyed it.
It was a good job, yes, and good people.
My parents' phone number was 67. They had a private line.
My parents was 126.
They had a private line.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was going, I was 441.
What was your mom and dad?
449.
Do you guys like cell phones?
I think they're very impersonal. I still like the operators. Yeah, they would phone us.
Yeah. I thought
Have you made a cake and how much?
When they call for recipes?
Oh, they call for anything.
Oh yeah, we got asked all kinds of questions. You know, I used to work graveyard sometimes, and sometimes you get some. Do you know who did such and such? No. They've come a long way when you think about it. That was a really ingenious,
Simple.
idea. Worked well and everything.
But and then when I went to dial, you lost your operators to talk to and stuff like that.
Please hang up and try again.